Next question. Kevin.
You mentioned about using jokes to break tension.
Yes.
You also mentioned before that sometimes it actually interrupts the action, interrupts the flow of it.
Yes.
How do you place that? How do you fix the best ways between good tension breaking and bad one?
How many of you are good snow drivers? How many of you have stomped on the brakes around an icy corner?
For fun.
Okay. In traffic. Same principle. Okay? You are going to discover, as you are writing, that there are places where breaking the tension, there are places where diverting the reader into a joke will break the story. You'll crash the story of the car. That metaphor is not working really well for me. I want to do over. It takes practice, like anything else. Like anything else, it takes practice. But now that you know that that exists, now that you know that it's possible to use artifice to alter the tension in your story, when one of your alpha readers says, I think you want this scene to be tense, but it doesn't feel tense enough, they might not know that the problem is the joke. They might not know that the problem is that the scene is too long or the scene is too short. But now that you know that you can affect those things, that's just a tool that will let you go back and safety check it. I hope that was useful. Bad metaphor and all. Okay, next question. Got about 12 minutes before I shut up. Unless all the questions suck. Scott. Saved.
Do you have any tips for evaluating your humor? I mean, because a huge part of humor is like the surprise factor, and when you've been looking at this joke, you've been trying to like figure out how to tweak it. It just reaches a point where like you're just it's dead to you in some sense. Like how do you get around that?
Okay, years and years of practice on my part. I look at my own jokes. I run them past Sandra, my wife, and in fact, she is. She is my alpha reader. She gets to see this before there's any pictures. Because drawing a picture, that takes lots of time. Okay? Remember when I made the joke about, okay, I like the work, but I want to go around the work? The part where you draw the picture and the words and show it to somebody and then find out that it sucks and you have to draw another picture? Okay, I am made of not doing that. And so I will hand Sandra the scripts, and sometimes I will just write down, if the dialogue, I lay it out as comic strip. For you guys, I guess it would be left to right. I lay out dialogue bubbles inside of panels, and I will tell Sandra, this is Para Ventura talking to Captain Tagon, and Para starts. Usually I don't even need to say that, because once I've told her who the characters are, she can tell who is saying what. And she will read it, and she will get to the end, and while she's doing this, I, who have been married to this woman since 1993, look at her and watch her face. And I can tell if it's working or if it's not. Luxury that I have and you don't. Develop this in your alpha readers. I'm not suggesting you need to marry them, but learn their reactions. I didn't start writing comics until I was 31, back in 2000, and yeah, we'd been married for 7 years. So I already had a sense of who she was and how these things would read with her, and so I developed that. And so when I look at a joke, I can tell if it's not working for her. None of my jokes work for me by the time I'm done drawing the picture. I just keep flapping. It cleared the Sandra hurdle. It cleared my hurdle first. I had an idea for what to draw for the picture. I'm just chopping wood and carrying water until the river and the forest are gone. That's a great metaphor. I'm going to use that the next time I talk in, like, Berkeley. I'm just going to chop wood and carry water. I'm just going to do the grunt work that I've laid out in front of myself until this is done and have a little faith that it works. And then I put it up on the internet, and people send me money. That's not actually how that part works, but anyway. Casey, did you have a question? Scott asked one, and then, but your hand was up, and I.
I'm not familiar. Could you just talk about your?
Oh, sorry. My work, schlockmercenary.com, epic science fiction being told 4 panels at a time. The lead character, Sergeant Schlock, is a carbosilicate amorph, weighs about 250 kilograms, about yay high, sort of pyramidal in shape, looks like the dropping of a 20-ton ungulate. Eyes, mouth, he's sort of an embodiment of violence and appetite in sort of an everyman kind of character, and he allows me to tell punchlines that a human character wouldn't, like being able to pull his weapon of mass destruction out of his mouth. It's been running for 13 years now, every day. It's formatted like a newspaper comic. The early artwork is so eye-bleedingly bad. The only way for it to suck worse is for us to raise atmospheric pressure. Physics joke doesn't play in the English department. So yeah, that's what I do. You can also listen to me on Writing Excuses at writingexcuses.com. Brandon, Dan, Mary, and I every week, 15 minutes long, because you're in a hurry and we're not that smart. By the way, you know who came up with that tagline? 2 thumbs, this guy. That is one of the best things I've ever done. And the reason it worked is that Brandon and Dan trusted the humorist to come up with a way to describe the podcast that has nothing to do with what we actually talk about. The selling point for the podcast is 3 in the beginning, and now 4 professional creatives giving you advice and counsel about how to create. That's a horrible tagline. But we decided to make it 15 minutes long because we wanted you to listen for 15 minutes, high signal to noise ratio, lots of information, stand in front of the fire hose for 15 minutes, and now go write. Go do a thing with the information we've given you. So I wrote the tagline based on that. And taglines, they're like anything else. Well, brevity is the soul of wit. That's why that works.